Ooh. Hi, Steve. Are you there? Hey, Steve. Ooh, hold on. What's happening? I'm going to come back. Hmm. Hi, Steve. Oop, something's up.
So on your meeting notice, Sally, there was a Google Meet address. So I went to Google
Oh,
Meet. I I thought
on
maybe
what? On what? What? Oh, there was. Oh, I'm sorry. I think that comes up automatically. Oops,
I'm
my
sure it
bad.
does. So
Let me
that's why
find
I
some.
was.
Gotcha. Um,
Is Ken over
Ken
on
is
Google Meet?
grocery shopping. He'll be right back, but I have to go get my mouse really quick upstairs because something's weird happening with my screen. I'll
Okay.
be right back. Hey, Ken. No, we're not on the Google Meet. We're on the Roundtable Zoom website link. Sorry, it automatically sends it. That's where Steve was too. Like just your regular roundtable meeting. So go to the roundtable website and then, yeah, the roundtable
Yeah,
meeting button.
I'm using the April 6th meeting link.
Yeah, they're all the same. They're all, PEPO's the same, bylaws are the same. It's all the same link. Yeah, but just go to the roundtable one just to be, just make sure. Yeah, cool. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll see you in a second. Are you good? Okay, I'm hanging up. Okay, we got it all going on. Thanks, Steve, for doing this really last minute meeting. I appreciate it. Things are moving fast, so I just thought we could get it all done in one meeting and I could get things started while I still have time and while just get things going before spring hits. It's coming fast.
Till summer gets here. I think spring's already sprung.
Yeah,
Well,
true.
yeah, until summer returns this morning or this
Yeah.
last week. Oh,
Well, thanks, guys. I invited Kristen. She couldn't make it.
okay,
So I just thought about it this morning. So the agenda's last minute. Um, but then I thought I have a lot of stuff to talk about actually. So just wanted to
okay,
get it all done in one meeting rather than 40 emails.
yeah, great.
So RFP. print ads, infographics, and the 2027 grant. So, um, first of all, we received two proposals for the advertising of the story map and the print ads. One was from Meeker. She was called Caffeinated Code Monkey. And her name's Heather. She I have them both here. This is hers. This is what she submitted. That's it. Attached to her email. Nothing else. This is a $6,700 proposal. She then emailed me last week and said that she was not qualified for this job in her mind. It was a little bit over her skill set. So she still wanted to just like, here you go, here's the proposal, but she wanted to take her name out of the race. So that leaves me, wow, okay, with one proposal. I did put it on our website, all our partners' websites. Abby, our communications person at Western Resilience, helped me put it on a lot of social media sites that are for consultants for these kind of projects, and I got nothing other than Caffeinated Code Monkey and Western Resilience. So I'll talk about that in a second. So two of them, it's a small, and I'm trying to figure out why it's a small grant, small ask. So I think just even writing a proposal takes a lot of time, and it's not worth it to some people. I don't know. I really tried. So I have two. So this is Caffeinated Code Monkey, and this is what I received from Western Resilience. And I do want to say, I want to, after this, of course, I work for Western Resilience, so I want to take recuse myself of any conflict of interest because when we do vote on this, because of course I work there, what Kristen and I initially wanted, Kristen has worked with Julia Hubbard, and I have worked with Julia Hubbard in the past as just a consultant. She's been working with Western Resilience Center a lot more lately. So when I sent out the RFP to Julia, she said, well, I better check with Western Resilience, make sure, I'm not having a conflict of interest you with a side hustle. And so at that point, I kind of unknowingly initiated an internal conversation between Michelle Stewart didn't even really know what position Julia had at Western Resilience, just because they wanted to
Okay.
have her on time fully. We don't have the board said no, so what it shook out to be is that Western Resilience created a budget for this RFP, so they are the ones submitting this RFP with Julia doing the work.
Okay.
So
Well, thank you for that disclosure. Um, yeah, Steve, I think we probably both agree that you would be answering questions and then recusing yourself, and then we'll, yeah, just explaining what you did in your process, and then we'll have you step back and we'll have a discussion about how to proceed.
that sounds good. I just wanted to just scroll through this on the screen. Can you see
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Scroll through this. This is Julia. Abby is not involved. And then there's, all her garden in a box, water tip Wednesdays. Those are things she actually worked with me. Um, they were fantastic.
So you've had a
And
good experience with Julia.
oh yes, and so is Kristen. She was both our just like off the top of our head um, suggestion locally. She works locally with the Humane Society quite a bit, and so of course you can see the difference in um, the whole
Proposed.
proposal, right?
Yeah.
The effort
Yeah.
that was put in.
Did she
And
adequately answer all of your questions that you had in the RFP?
oh yes, yes, this is a
Okay.
12-page answer, as opposed to that one piece of paper.
Okay.
Julia's came in at $5,200. Caffeinated Code Monkey in at $6,700. So Julia's,
And
I
we were
mean,
thinking
yes.
somewhere around 5,000, right? Isn't that approximately what we
Yeah,
thought?
I mean, we have up to eight. So this is,
Yeah.
yeah, this is amazing. It's less, and in my opinion, the proposal is, you know, night and day. So, um, but that's just my opinion. So
Steve, do you have any other questions of Sally before she recuses herself and we carry on here?
Well, she doesn't need to recuse herself for this conversation, I don't think.
Okay.
So
do you think
Sally,
we need to vote on this later, or can we decide today on
Well, I think
who the
what we would need
contract goes
to
to?
do is we would recommend we would give you we would we'd need to still ratify a decision that we made today. So in other words, if
Hmm.
Steve and I say, yeah, go ahead, proceed with this, then we would say that, okay, you're going to proceed and we still want to put it on our agenda for May and say we need the committee to ratify this decision. I think that would cover us.
so I did have a question,
Okay,
Sally.
we'll talk about that in a sec. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so either number 10 or 11 in your, so there was like 12 bullet points, and that's what Caffeinated Code Monkey had on their bid sheet, had replied to all 12. It looks like 10 and 11 are they together in
Here on
West
here.
in on Western Resilience's
Oh,
bid? Because
um,
they didn't address the, can you go back up to their, just roll up to the,
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there. Isn't that yeah, that.
so there's on number 10, it talks about other roundtable print ads, and it talks about the BIP, and it talks about social media ads, and number 10 was, hang on a second. Number 10 was five other roundtable print ads, BIP focus. Number 11 was five roundtable social
Oh,
ads.
she does have 11 there, but she didn't give it a new box. It looks like, right?
Yeah, I see 11.
Is what she
Oh,
did.
okay. Because I was, but she didn't have another bid, did she?
Another number. I will note that to her. That's a good
Okay,
catch.
because it looks like
She
she's
might have she
bid
might have left out
600.
like a 600. Well, so let's see what she asked for the other five table because I asked in two different, social media posts, 524. I'm guessing there would be another $524 on here. Because in number
So,
three, that's her social media charge for the story map social media.
okay.
Maybe potentially, and I will follow up with her on 11. She's missing. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, wow, that's a pretty low number for, frankly, for what Western Resilience charges. Um, so I will ask her on that.
Yeah, so there
But right
so
now it's 5248, and if we did 5248 with another 524,
that'd be
that would
57.
5872 compared to 6700. So
It-
5872 might be a potential
How soon can we
new number.
confirm that with her?
I can do that today. She's extremely responsive.
Okay. But as it reads now, she's saying that both 10 and 11 would be only $600. Yeah, we need to
Yep.
question that. Okay,
Okay.
good.
I
Good
will
catch.
check with that. What I'm wondering is, so the timeline that Kristen and I created, based on the story map RFP, and I'm not sure how we dealt with it for the story map, because I followed it exactly because it happened in the same time last year, um, with the small adjustments because of the RFP dates. I was hoping to get her to start sooner rather than later, so before that May meeting. Frankly, That's too late for me. I'm going to be knee deep in other work. And I'm trying to get as much done for Patrick as I can
Yeah, I
before
think
I
you,
leave. So if we can
Steve,
somehow ratify it a different way, I don't know.
Steve, are you comfortable with giving her the nod to go ahead and then and not really technically approving it until the May meeting? I see why you're what you're saying, Sally, because if we wait until May, you're gone. This is all becomes Patrick's problem, and I
And
think
it
there
won't get done
and yeah, I
as
was going to say,
much. It's going to be
well,
different.
this is yeah, you've done a great job with this stuff and completely revamped our entire outreach and from where Patrick was at, and not that he didn't put some good effort into it. I think you've really done an exemplary job here, and I think there's some real synergy to have you get started on this and get the ball rolling with Julia prior to the May meeting.
I've got all the for whoever gets this proposal, I have a email ready to go with all the materials kind
Okay.
of to look at before Kristen and we're going to tag team this, but I'll talk about that later. But so I'm ready to start as soon as I get the okay. So whether it's a meeting to ratify with the subcommittee or however you guys want to deal with it, I'm happy to do.
What do you think, Steve?
Well, let's ratify the price change and just verify that
Okay.
if there's going to be a price change.
Okay.
So this is really all coming out of CAA's money, is that correct?
Correct. I j checked in with Patrick yesterday or the day before and just made sure that CAA is the person or is the entity contracting. That's what we put on the RFP. It's Yampatika.
Yes.
CAA is the contracting entity. And I do have like
And this
attached to the agenda, there is a past contract for Four Corners. So you can see who's the entity on the contract. I
and
will
the
edit
money
that.
though is coming out of the 25, 26, $25,000 PEPO grant.
Yep.
Yep.
That we need to spend.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with this personally. But
Yeah. So
Steve's right, we got to confirm 9 and 10 or 10 and 11.
Okay. And so how do I do that? Do I get a hold of Julia? She emails me back either with an edited version or says, "Nope, that's my request." Um,
Yeah, I think all you do
and
is just say, we noticed in reviewing your proposal that 10 and 11 were included into a single price. Was that a mistake or is that the price? And that's
and
if
then
she,
I get back to you with that
yep,
information, and then the next step after that would be,
proceed.
okay. So you just need to know whether there's a change or not. Okay.
Yeah, are you all right with that, Steve?
yeah, the only thing I would add is, so we have one bidder who we're likely recommending here. We've got
Mm-hmm.
one bidder that bid high, doesn't feel qualified to do the work. And then were there any other respondents that said,
No
no,
other
it's too
respondents.
small?
No.
So there's just the two. Okay.
Yep.
Does
Yep.
that meet, does that number meet CAA's internal
Patrick said
policy?
he knew of no, I mean, when he's done contracts, he's really not, that hasn't been a thought in his mind of how many contracts or proposals he's gotten. Before you, it's been Blue Fire Consulting. So that is an entity they've used prior. So it was just kind of like a no-brainer to just use them again, and it wasn't a process. So
Yeah.
I think, but as far as Patrick's concerned, um, yeah, this is a,
Well, I think we might want to ask Amber. So those would be the two things that we've come up with is to check the price on 9 or 10 and 11, and then ask Amber to make sure that she's comfortable proceeding with really two bids, one not a very serious
Who's
bid.
Amber?
the
Amy?
Community Agriculture Alliance Executive Director.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
Amber
just say,
Gonzalez.
let's just make sure we haven't violated some internal policy from CAA that we don't
Okay.
know about.
Yeah.
I think I mean, I think I'd show the two bids at the meeting
Yep.
and say but however it turns out, here's the one we chose. It's low. It's a better
Mm-hmm.
quality. The other candidate doesn't really think she is qualified to do the work after considering it more. And then
Yeah.
I'd say if you can get that verified, I'm good to with the 5,200 or the whatever 58,
5872. And
yeah,
then
whatever that
in
was.
the email from Amber saying with the getting with the go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm good with either,
Fantastic.
but I'd like to know what it is.
For sure. Absolutely. Okay.
And
Thank you
then
very much.
and then I think we can, so I think you can get started. I don't see it being any different, Ken, than CAA making the decision for us. We're just guiding them.
Yep.
And I think we could get the ball started and then say, here's the bids. We wanted to get the ball rolling, and so we asked for to we've already pre-approved it. We just want to ratify this as the contractor that's moving forward. I don't
Now,
see it any different.
another step we could do is have an emergency electronic meeting, send this single topic out to the members of our PEPO committee and just make sure that no one has a problem with that we're recommending to move forward with this bid. And because timeliness is important, we wanted to make sure that we could go ahead and proceed before the final approval at the PEPO meeting, or that we wanted everybody to weigh in or make sure that there's no opposition to moving forward. I mean, that would be a belt and suspender way to do it.
Whatever you think. I mean, you're the Peppo, you're the Peppo guy.
And
Um,
in this instance, I'm fine with just the decision to move forward, given the two things that we asked Sally to check on, and then we'll put it on the agenda for the May meeting and just get it ratified there.
yeah, that's what I think. I think that's enough.
Okay.
So verify the price, Sally, and then just double check with what did you say her name was?
Amber. Amber
Amber.
Pugalis. Yeah.
Yeah, just make sure Amber's that we're not violating some unknown thing that Patrick has been ignoring for years.
Actually,
Yeah,
that could happen, right? Now we've all learned
that
that
could
that might
definitely
happen.
be the case.
Definitely can happen.
All
Okay.
right.
All right, we're moving along then. That was the big one. Thank you very much. I think she's going to do amazing work. We're going to talk about some ideas later. Um,
Okay,
Payment
so
issues from
you have clear direction,
CWCB.
right?
Pardon me?
You have clear direction from
I
us.
have clear direction. Yep, I
Okay,
have two things to get back to you, and we will proceed after that.
super.
Was there other stuff on the agenda you wanted to talk about, Sally?
I have
Do you have the
I have
agenda
a
you can put up?
I do have a little bit on the agenda. Did you
Okay.
see it? I emailed it to you this
I
morning.
I was reading it as you were typing it.
Perfect. I was still making it. It's fresh. Um,
Yes.
Thank you. A lot of things happening all in this week. So, Anna, I reached out to Anna. Okay, so I met with Kristen last week, and we talked about this advertising and just our path forward with this RFP, and decided, and we're talking about edits that Anna could do in the future. That we talked about the $500 at the end of the year if we have major edits for a contract. I reached out to Anna and said, "Could you write us a contract saying that you would do edits, you know, the most you would spend is 5 hours at $100 an hour for edits we need on the story map." And she came back to me and said, and I also asked her, could you maybe present at the next roundtable meeting, 10 minutes about the story map because the roundtable hasn't actually heard. This was an
Yeah,
idea
that's a good
from
point.
Kristen.
Yeah, good point.
And so then Anna got back to me and was like, "Really? I kind of haven't been paid yet." So they owe her $8,800. I let Patrick know we need to start hounding the state, but this is kind of a big deal. So I think this is also a good Western Resilience can like absorb this contract for this RFP, the $5,700 or $5,800 for a while, because we know that this RF contract won't be paid for several months. And so this is something that is a problem with CWCB. It's they ask us to do these things and it's kind of embarrassing at this point. So so she really doesn't want to do these edits or the presentation. So that's fine. And I don't blame her. So I told Patrick and myself and Kristen I would do the small edits. We shouldn't have any for a while. If there are edits, we'll figure that out in the future. Maybe Anna will come around once she gets paid. And we're gonna just back off on that presentation for a while. And Kristen said that in the future she'd love 10 minutes, in the fall on some meeting at some point to just show the whole nice story map to the entire roundtable. Um, so
When is it's the 17th is the statewide PEPO meeting, correct? On April 17th?
I have sent that to Patrick. I don't know if he's going.
Well, I'm in Phoenix,
Okay.
so I can attend virtually. But this is something I would like to bring up at that meeting is, I mean, because she's going to lecture us on how to do the proper invoicing and budgeting. And we need to be able to say, well, it's hard to contract with people when it's months later before they're going to get paid. So is there any
Maybe
way?
if it's virtual, Patrick can pop in on that because he has plenty to say on that. I mean, it's because he's
Yeah,
the one actually doing the budgeting
yeah.
and the hounding of her. And I'm not sure what the holdup is.
Well, it's
It's
just the
not
state
good.
process. It's the normal. It's like when I turn in an expense report, I hope I get some money within 6 weeks.
I felt like sometimes after C9, I get a check pretty quick. Um I just feel like if Anna was thinking about doing other roundtables, I'm not sure she wants to at that point, just it's it's something they should think about. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
just that.
okay to bring it up. Okay,
So we talked about that contract. I just wanted to show you what just and this is all linked in the agenda. What Kristen and I talked about, our story map distribution plan. You can take a look at it later. And so really we're going to put out what we're going to do is wait for our contractor, Julia, to do some of this to help us with some of these materials. And then I'm going to do a massive email to all of our stakeholders. We have a ton of people, so we're just gonna, but we want to have all our ducks in a row and a really good explanation of how to use the story map, how to share it, that sort of thing. So, um, and these are some of the notes from the meeting with Kristen and I on last week. At the end of that meeting, I had a meeting with Patrick right after in my office. So it was really nice. Patrick, Kristen, and I got to get together and we just we just talked about maybe what our 2027 PEPO ask is. So I just wanted to let you know that. Um, okay.
so do we have a project identified for this 27 budget yet?
Yes. So it's on the agenda for later, and I can pop down to that. The 2027 PEPO grant. So in this meeting, Kristen, um, well, Patrick and I talked about, she brought up the kiosks again. And I was like, well, those are kind of big. What about maybe an iPad or something you could take to classrooms, if you want to show the story map? So we weren't sure if CWCB would allow that. So I reached out after the meeting to Elizabeth, showed her. She said, no, probably not. She reached out to procurement. They said, probably not. She's still going to get back to me. But I think it was kind of understood from Patrick that physical property is not allowed to be held by anyone at the round table. So things like that, like owls and those kind of physical properties. So um, we
Well,
made a
we have
pivot.
we have
The
canopy now.
actual, go ahead.
Well, we have canopies now. I mean, that's physical
Yeah,
property.
somehow it's just different. Maybe it's technology. She just said no. So the thing was, the PEPO grant was due yesterday. So I got a call from Patrick a couple days ago saying, this is what I'm gonna do for the PEPO grant. And I said, it's your grant, so but he wants to he asked for website updating because that is one of the needs that him and I kind of came up with. It's been 8 years since the website has been made, and there's pages that are just defunct at this point. The events page, there's just some things I don't have the talent to do. Not thinking Hive 180, but just somebody to update it. That was his ask. He can pivot from that, but he had to put something in there.
We we have an intern that's helping the HOC right now, and he works only X number of hours a week. I think it's like 5 or 6 hours a week. Um, but he's done an incredible job. If you want to see what I mean, just go to the HOC website and you go, well, that doesn't look anything like the old one. And
Oh,
he's
good.
been doing
A
it.
lot more
Yeah.
content. Yeah,
And
for you
he's
guys.
like $20 an hour, $25 an hour. I mean, he's
That's exactly what we need. Something like that. Somebody
exactly
to
what we
spend
need.
time and go through, wait, that's the same thing on this page as in this page. And there's just a lot on there. And it's, well, now we have that nice, we could, so, and if that person, I don't know, to me, social media in a 20-year-old doing social media would be a kind of a neat thing if we could do like a wrap up of social media and website updating. That's up to Patrick. This is his new grant, but that's kind of what I think the roundtable outreach needs now. So now we have Instagram and Facebook. We're going to have some nice social media templates. We just need to keep that social media going, in my opinion. That's how you get to people. So that's what the PEPO grant is for 2027. Um, Next, I just wanted to ask you while I had you, I made, some print ads that weren't great in the past, so I want to avoid that very much. And I really want to just figure out what our message is, what I should focus on, and maybe the actual infographics. And this can be not decided today, but possibly, between us and whoever else on the subcommittee cares about this, but I think it's just us. Um, what we want those print ads, not for the story map, just for the roundtable to focus on. So in the past, we talked about the infographics, doing print ads about the infographics. Well, here they are. So we kind of just need to figure out what we want on there. Um, on this, so the infographics are also on the Yampa White Green Basin website homepage under the top tabs. So there'll be an infographic tab, and under that is kind of that old, I think it's from one of the old PEPO meetings like last year, the water messaging report that we did about um, that Strategic by Nature did for each watershed. And so it just kind of goes through like what did the Yampa White Green, what was, and some of this is from that C9, Steve, where you answered all those questions in Crested Butte. Um,
Okay.
that's what this is. So it was just what was important to the Yampa White Green. So this is something I'm giving the contractor, but it also, and go through it if you want. It has some good things, like what maybe was, it's at the very top. Water supply and um, the Wild River. That was two of the big takeaways. But there's more in here. Um, what this did say is that sometimes it's nice to focus on one message rather than like five different ones, or just putting that out there. Um, so the
Well,
infographics are one thing we can talk about here in a second, and there's also infographics on I think one of these is the Colorado Water Plan in here. Colorado Water Plan has a ton, and I put the page numbers in here if you want to check it out, 143 to 149 on the Yampa White Green. So if there's some that you like, let me know. Um,
well, one thing
Ken
that
also
would
had
be,
one idea. I'll just mention that your idea, Ken, where you had, you know, in the past we had just a BIP with a green background and a lot of words. So
yeah.
I think Ken's idea was, um, so there'd be like something about the recreation BIP, and then maybe the contact information for Kent Vertrees. Like he's your local environmental rep. I don't know if people love to have their contact information out there. So we could say, you know, for more information, contact info at Ampa White Green or something like that. Or maybe a quote from Kent, or and then an infographic in it. I'm just kind of just trying to troubleshoot. If you guys are just trying to have you start thinking about what kind of advertisements you'd like to see, if there's any that ad social media posts that you think are just really effective, or if there's some infographics we should focus on.
Well, is this giving specific direction to Julia, or are you talking
Yes,
about
I will be
separate?
giving specific direction to Julia soon.
Well, one of the
So
things that
that's kind of
has
why I
to,
just wanted, while I had you.
well, we have to talk about the drought. I mean, for crying out loud, those ASO flights came back, and we're not at 50%, we're at 20%. So I think if never let a perfectly good crisis go to waste, and we definitely have got a serious challenge right now.
So drought in relation to storage.
Yeah, just the whole water supply
That,
story. And if you want
okay.
to really digress, you'd talk a little bit about the Colorado River and the significance that we're a big part of that negotiation. And we
So,
don't know how that's going to turn out yet.
so what I'm trying to get away from, and I think that what the infographics are more like flashy and less wordy.
Yes.
So, so, and she's really good at this. So I think that's
Good.
kind of, you know, I'm going to give her like the direction and some of these materials and just say, do your thing and see what comes back. But really, I'm not going to say, you know, clearly, I'm not going to say, I don't know. So, after I looked at it, I was like, well, some of these infographics are kind of basic. So there's more in the
But
Colorado
isn't
Water
our,
Plan and also the IWMP final report.
yeah, but our target audience is not a real sophisticated water
True,
audience.
true. And you know, so I think so other than drought, any others that you should we just come up with some that I think are appropriate and we go for it? Or I just don't want to make that, I know not to focus on agriculture and how much water that it uses. So I will definitely never do that again. Um, and these are from just Colorado up here. These are more Colorado based. So maybe something, so I won't use this. Um,
Steve, do you have any strong feeling? Is there another big topic that we want to make sure is included?
You know, I I'm thinking, Ken, I mean, I'm still wrapping my brain around this Shoshone Falls water right that
Yeah.
a part of that has to go in a TMD to Denver.
it's kind of
I,
nuts, huh? Um,
that doesn't make me happy that that we've supported that, and nobody said that there was these internal agreements through like 2035 or 2034, whatever it is, that they have to send water to Denver, and then based on the water they send, then Colorado River District gets a kickback of 10% of the water. It's like none of that. I never heard any of that.
And where
And
did you read
I'm still
this?
trying to figure out I don't know if the rest of our roundtable
I
is
heard
aware
about
of
it.
any of that either. But
Yeah.
TMDs are a big thing for us. The only one that I'm aware of is is happening in Wyoming that comes out of the Yampa White Green, but it's definitely the foot down for us. It's not is no water out of the Yampa should ever flow east.
Yeah, and we do have Cheyenne looking at water there in Hog Park coming out of the Little Snake headwaters.
Yeah, going to Cheyenne, isn't it?
Yep. I'm afraid that they're trying to expand that, and I think it might have something to do with this big data center that they want to put in between Cheyenne and Greeley.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. And I always wrap my head around that new reservoir that they were thinking north of the border there was going to have a TMD tied to it.
Well, our HOC has agreed that we will not go there. We're not, we're working on forest health and we're not going to get into the politics. I have talked briefly with Lindsay Marlowe and Friends of the Yampa, and she said when I told her, she looked at me quite baffled and said, "No, I haven't heard anything about it." I said, "Well, why don't you?" She goes, "I'll have somebody look into it." So I haven't followed up with her, but um, I think just if we can get somebody who does, like they have decided they want to be the ones that do the aggressive environmental advocacy out of the basin, and that's fine. That's what they want to do. Then that's what they should do, and they might be the logical one because I don't see the roundtable going there. But making people aware in general that a large amount of water, somewhere between 500 and 600,000 acre feet of water, gets diverted from the front range or from the west slope to the front range annually.
Yeah.
If you know that, you need to know that.
Western Resilience isn't ready to take that stance either. I'll just say that right now.
Yeah.
No.
It's been a talk, and we've also talked about Friends of the Yampa with that. So I agree with your statement, Ken, for sure.
Okay.
Is
Well,
so there's so I know, Sally, there's a requirement at the Maybell monitoring station for a 500,000 acre feet a year that has to pass by there going down the Yampa River. I don't know how many people know about that. There's
that's
Aaron's aware, and I don't know exactly what the requirements are, but there is a requirement from for water in the Little Snake coming out of Wyoming. Um, so
yeah. What's
there's
that called? A PBO, a programmatic biological opinion.
biological opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
PBO.
If we could dig up some information on that, I think that would be that sort of stuff that people don't really know I think would be beneficial if we could put like a little infographic, but um we'd have to figure out what those agreements are. I don't know if the Colorado River District, Rebecca might have information on that, or we could contact Aaron and say, what do
I have
you
a
know
really good
about?
relationship with Erin. Yeah, I'll reach out to her.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, and
with info, I'm just writing this all down. That's a good
that's a
thing.
good
How
suggestion, though,
about, do you
is
want
to
to
reach
go
out
there
to,
with the little snake? I mean, you
well,
can. We can do that. But just saying. So
I think we
yeah,
could get some good
that's
material.
nothing we're gonna decide today. So if you think about it and are like, yeah, let's do that. Um, but maybe
I,
what I'm thinking is when you do look at some of these infographics, is there if there's anything you do not want us to use, please let me know just so I don't
okay.
make
All right. So prioritize the
any
infographic.
yeah, just kind of like anything that's a no-go. Like I hate that statistic or whatever.
Well,
Or and
checking with the
anything
Colorado
else you want
River
us to
District is appropriate. Checking with the Colorado River District is definitely appropriate because they are looking out. They're trying to keep an eye on our back all the time as well. So they may have some good suggestions.
Okay. All right.
What else, young lady?
Let's see. Messaging report, basin fact sheets. I think that's about it. But maybe I just don't want to leave unless I kind of know the. So it's storage, water and basin. What else? And
Drought, drought.
drought and drought. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I think, and probably another really relevant theme is just what's going on with the Colorado River and those negotiations and the fact that the drought's going to not make anything any easier on that front.
Okay. All right. Please feel free to call me, text me, whatever,
Okay.
with any ideas. I am very open to any help I can get. Just I'm winging it. So let me,
Okay, yeah, let me
yeah,
think about it a little bit.
yeah. And I'm gonna give her. I will email her with after I get those two emails to you, and in a couple days, I will email Julia with all the different materials. So nothing is going to happen off the bat, but I just wanted to give her a couple days to ingest it. Then maybe her and I can meet next week, and then we'll start working on that. So I'll start kind of brainstorming and maybe running some things by Ken and you, Steve, if you'd like. So
Yeah, and I've made a list of things that I want to run past Patrick here is make sure that our handoff is good. Sally, have you had a
yeah.
chance to update Steve at all on Community Ag Alliance, how they want to handle this
I don't
position?
know if Steve knows. No, so when I was at the Steamboat State of the River, Amber, the new Ag Alliance director, just came up to me and said, "Oh gosh, you're working really hard on trying to find somebody for the PEPO position, but I don't think we're gonna fly an advertisement for it." And I said, "Oh, really?" Like, okay, because I kept hounding her for, a description. And she said, "Well, I think we're just gonna hold on to it till the fall. Patrick's gonna do it. And, full disclosure, he's gonna kind of do it a little less, because he has a little less time. But in the fall, they are thinking about maybe hiring a Moffat County representative. And this is something I can ask Amber again. Maybe I'll give her a phone call instead of the email when I ask her about the proposals. But they are thinking about hiring somebody as a representative for Moffat County from the CAA, and this would be one of their positions because we're just in general, I think the Moffat County is underrepresented for a lot of things. So that's what they're thinking. That person, I don't know who that would be. Um, but in the meantime, it's Patrick. So,
And Steve, in case you weren't aware, Sally has done above and beyond what she's been doing what we've asked her to do, but it's above and beyond what obviously what Patrick had time for and
Yes.
subsequently is we've managed to pay her adequately, but only because we're regularly taking WSRF funds from that other grant the Community Ag Alliance has, in addition to the money that's in our PEPO $25,000 grant. I'm not sure that's sustainable, so I'm really kind of curious about how we
I
structure
think
this in the future.
I think my budget comes from that PEPO grant. I think. So basically, the way it's worked is I've contracted Western Resilience contracted through Ag Alliance for me to do it for $1,400 a month as the PEPO liaison flat rate. No matter what work I do, it's because of we have to do some insane coding for our time, and it also has become a lot more tedious. Now I have to send 4 invoices per month because they want the PEPO grant, the WSRF grant separated. So it's become more tedious, but so I get paid $1,400 a month.
So that's 17,000 a year. That's in excess of what we have in the 25,000. So
Yep.
just
And
to
so,
be
but I will
sure
say that
aware,
I've also been doing about double that or a lot more than that just because my rate
yeah,
at Western Resilience went up, lots of things. So I think a contractor through CAA will be the right way to go
yeah.
because the contractor can just ask a lesser rate. They don't have that overhead that Western Resilience does. So, um, that's kind of the path that I think would work best. I've told that to Amber, told that to Patrick several times. It just is, and I think there's money to move around. It's just been difficult with Patrick having the budget and then me doing the work because sometimes I don't know. And so, he
Yeah,
doesn't explain it great. So,
it doesn't.
so I'm kind of
But
I'm
it
following
just
his
doesn't
lead and just
seem
saying, do we have
sustainable.
enough money?
It doesn't seem sustainable to me. I mean, because once that WSRF funding is
Hmm.
gone, and when we transition if we can transition to this new Community Ag Alliance position that is a hybrid that includes the PEPO liaison, that's, I think, where we need to make a hard decision about how much money we're going to spend on that position. Um, and that's, I didn't, wasn't sure, Steve, that you understood how much money we were spending, but I wanted to make sure, since we're talking about it, that you know that that's what's going on, and I wasn't fully aware either. But now that we've got this chance to take a look at it, you're probably kind of scratching your head going, let me think about that one too.
No, I have been.
I think we could scale down a lot of things for the Peppo person, you know, and just have, I
What
mean,
part
there's
of it?
still the website updating, there's still the things that need to happen, the newsletters, but um Ken and I talked about maybe Kristen Skrikowski doing like the Peppo minutes. Maybe the Peppo liaison person shouldn't be doing the Peppo minutes. That could be a Kristen thing. Um,
Well, she should. I mean,
she
Kristen
should.
should be doing all the
It's
minutes
just
for
been
all the
kind of
meetings.
a wonky relationship. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and really that the Peppo person might not even need to go to the roundtable meeting. Maybe they could, since it's on a different day now, maybe Patrick could just, or whoever, be virtual because that's a lot of time. So maybe Kristen could run the presentation. That's a day right there, right? Um, Also, in my idea, if you're redoing the bylaws, I just think everybody should be on a subcommittee because it's just too easy to say no to everything. No one has to do anything. And then
Yeah,
there's certain people who show up to everything, the Bill Badarakas, the Frank Alphones, all those people. So it's just
yeah.
the way it happens with everything. So
But Steve, have you guys, as a bylaw committee, had that discussion yet about a requirement for participation on the roundtable be that you are a full participant in at least one of our subcommittees?
No, we haven't had that conversation. Our next bylaws meeting is, I want to say, the 15th of April.
something
Well,
like that.
could we request that, please, that you have that discussion that PEPO committee wanted to, because Sally and I have talked about this half a dozen times. And we'd love to have just a little bit more participation. But one of the
No, I,
things, the budgeting stuff, though, one thing that I wanted to make sure I mentioned, Sally has done a huge amount of the work on the story map, and that's done, at least
yes.
Hmm.
definitely. So
Hmm.
that is going to cut way back on the workload
Yes.
just naturally without her not doing or Patrick not doing any of the other things that Sally's been doing. So that's important to understand as well.
very
Yeah.
much so. Yes, and that's why I would love to get this push done on my time rather than Patrick's time with this
Yeah, I
advertising. Yeah.
completely agree. Asking him to come in and figure all this stuff out is not fair.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I think there's ways forward, and I mean, I'm just looking at like the Rio Grande, at the C9, their subcommittees are really and in particular their PEPO is just really involved. And we also I let's also mention that we did talk to Kristen with the Empatica about possibly taking that over. And she's not sure it's in her mission statement, as Nyapatika is more education and this is more administrative.
Yeah.
Because we did definitely think that that would be a good
Yeah, we talked about that
continuation,
at
but
length.
again, they're gonna be expensive too. So, and she was like, "Well, we're already getting a grant from the round table, so that's kind of a conflict of,
Well,
she
one
just
thing
doesn't
that I'd
have the
like to bring up,
capacity."
Sally, is it would be good for you if you're gonna, since you're the primary contact with the Community Ag Alliance and Amber right now, is, if we can help with this, she doesn't have to solve this problem. I'm glad that she's interested in possibly job sharing something, but I think the roundtable, Steve and other members of the roundtable are very
Hmm.
aware of everything that's going on down in Moffat County. I know I've reached out to CJ Mucklow, and he said he's got a few ideas he wants to discuss with me as well. So I think we
Oh,
can,
dude,
but if,
bring Jayla into that conversation if you think about it. That's literally one of the things her and I are tasked with is to smooth over some of those relationships, maybe, that have been ruffled
yeah,
or feathers have been ruffled, of those sort of things. So,
yeah,
the
I'm glad that Amber is just, she's a newer person that we haven't really had that close of a working relationship with in the
Mhm.
past. Michelle was, a pretty well-grounded CEO for them. So
Yeah,
yeah, I probably need to spend a little more time on that one as well. And because I still have not yet gotten into her office, sat down and just talked to her a little bit about this. But I would encourage her to come up with at least an outline of what that job description might look like so that we can help her maybe identify somebody that would be a logical person to get included.
that sounds great. Yeah, think
Have,
about that, Steve. And I mean, you're that guy. So,
have,
yeah,
have
I
you,
think there's just in general.
hey,
Also,
Ken,
just we want to do it. I mean, people want to do it in the right way and not come off very brash because that doesn't work. So I want
yeah.
I want to stay out of it personally. And that's a
We'll
big
try.
job. So it should be definitely the right person in Moffat County.
I'm going to have to go here in a minute, Steve. What's
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say, CAA's got Kristen, I think,
Kristen.
under contract for doing
Oh, yeah.
some work. I don't
Yep.
know exactly what it is, and then she gets paid by the state on her little $6,500 or whatever it is. Um, Sally and
oh
Kristen put those two lists of work together. I just wondering if we should talk to
Yeah.
Kristen about what she might be able to take on
yeah, we had that
Good
and
point.
discussion.
Let me
and
let
and
me
under
finish with
and
that. Yeah.
yeah, and then understand what it is that she doesn't feel comfortable with, so it might cut down what we're looking for, or it might become a different skill
I will
set.
say, and if you want to reach out and do that to with Kristen, one of you, that would be great. Just because I've already after our last meeting, we were walking out, and I just mentioned this possible Ag Alliance Moffat County position, me leaving and possibilities, and or taking on more responsibility. And Kristen Skrakowski is were interested. So I
Okay,
don't think
good.
that's a conversation that would be
Well, Steve, you and I
warranted at
should
all.
Okay.
probably strategize on how we want to do this, but we definitely, with this transition with Sally, we need to probably spend a few minutes on this while it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And
Yep,
I have a
10:30.
hard stop. I really do have to
Okay.
go do something. So Sally, thank you so much for setting this
I will
up.
take care of my to-do list and then I will be in touch. I'll email both of you later on today
Any
Okay,
last thing,
perfect.
Steve?
or tomorrow or Monday. Okay.
Yep, I'm good.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
Thanks,
day.
Sally. Thanks,
Yep.
Ken.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.